We need to build some storage.
I'm so excited. We're about to make some shelves and I get some more storage and I think I like it. I just like how you just jump in. You're like, all right, we do this. Cool.
Shock Munch.
This week, we make stuff.
Galvanized pipe shelving.
Hey everybody, I am Christina.
And I'm Kieran.
And you're watching Shock Munch. I am really excited for this week's episode because we're coming out with our DIY series.
Yeah. DIY stuff and build some shelves.
Okay. We bought a 1938 Tudor style home.
It's been a pretty sweet home.
I feel like an Ewok princess up in this bitch.
Me too. The previous owner put a lot of work into the house, but there were some interior things that still need to be done. The kitchen was a big one.
Yeah, the kitchen was a shit show. So we decided to tear out a wall and reno the entire kitchen. We had our own demo day. And then once we were left with this big gaping hole in our ceiling and our floor, we didn't really know how to marry the two rooms together. So our friend Danielle helped come up with a principal design scheme for the space.
She did a CAD drawing of the kitchen and the floor.
Yep. Kieran and I bust tail to repaint, to redo the floor. Now we have the fun stuff left to do. For this week, we're gonna be making galvanized pipe shelving to go on this empty wall.
Alright, so Danielle helped come up with the initial design. We had to come up with all the measurements we needed, make sure what we were going to do was going to fit with all the light switches and the outlets.
The only thing left to do is to go buy the materials. Let's go to the hardware store!
Let's go shipping!
The best part about Lowe's is we get to bring our dog. Hey, we go shopping for nails? Yeah. Where's the galvanized pipe?
Pick out some good boards. You want to make sure they're straight. Just look down the edge of it to see how straight it is. Got a bit of a curve to it. That helps to go a few boards back. Oh yeah. Proper eye protection. So right now, measured out the lower shelves, 54 inches. We need to cut the 1x6. It's going to be the top of our shelf. We're also going to need to cut these 1x2s to the same length. These are going to work as the ledger board to kind of hold the shelf up attached to the wall. Next we need to cut the 1x2. So just to double check that our cut is straight. So there's a few things you want to know about galvanized pipe if you're new to it. Come in a couple different sizes. We went down to the 1/2 inch size, which looks like this. I think it's the smallest they come in. They are a bit greasy when they come out. So when you're dealing with it, your hands are going to get greasy while you're putting these things together. And I always like to take the pieces and give them a little wipe down. Now the next thing you want to know is when you're doing your measurements, when you're planning out things, if you put 2 of these flanges on the end, you might assume you might get 8 inches. But when you screw these things together, you'll notice they don't quite go in all the way. And you only need to hand tighten these. That's as far as it needs to go. Is when you put 2 of these together like this, it ends up being around 8.5 inches. So you have to accommodate for a little bit extra. The next part is just to test fit these together. Make sure we actually bought all the right parts. They all fit together. Let's go see how they look on the wall. Next part is cutting the holes in our shelves. And in order to get the right measurement, we're going to unscrew this corner piece because we know this is going to be our way to tell how far away from the wall it's going to be. I'm going to use one of these connector guys. Stick it in here for now. Now when I put my board here, I'll have a reference as to where to cut my hole. In order to measure the holes we need to cut, I took this ledger board piece, simply because it was lighter, and I held it up against the kitchen wall so I could get how far along this way we want to cut our holes. Took our metal piece here and marked each side, and then using a ruler I found the center. So now I have the center of how far it needs to be down. Now we're not cutting holes in this, we're cutting holes through here. I can use this to line up how far down we need to cut this way. And since this is our finished piece for the corner, or it's going to be a little longer, but this is the height we need, I can line it up here, and then I can figure out the height this way by marking the top here and then the bottom, like so. Now that I've marked that, using a ruler, I line it up with some of the inch marks and just find the center. Now I know how far down this needs to go here. So each shelf is only going to have 2 holes. Now that I have the measurement, I can just use this piece as a reference to cut my other board. They're going to go together like so. So this ledger board piece is what's going to help hold the shelf to the wall. It's gonna be attached through here, and we're gonna drill screws into the wall, finding studs, drill long screws into here, and that's gonna hold everything together.
This is gonna hold the weight.
Yeah.
This is just gonna add additional security,
Right.
but mostly be decorative.
Yeah. Now that I've marked out where all the holes are gonna go, the next step is to hammer a nail into each cross section. I don't hammer it in all the way, just a little bit, and pull it out. It's gonna give us a little divot, so our hole cutter bit will be right on center. So if you're using the 1/2-inch piping like we are, turns out a 1-inch hole cutter is the perfect size. The hole will be big enough to fit this, but too small to go over this. If you have any scrap wood, it's good to test your hole cutting first. It's also good to put some scrap wood underneath your workpiece. When the ends split out, you don't get this splintering. A drill press would be a better tool for this job, but I don't have one. Cleanup is always important. All of our cutting's done. Next, we're gonna be sanding down the boards because it's easier to do it now instead of later. For this next part, I'm gonna glue and screw the ledger boards to the shelf boards. All right, I put a thin layer of glue down, spread that a little evenly. All right, so we finished gluing and screwing all the ledger boards to their shelf boards, and we have 3 nice finished shelves. We're gonna do a test pre-fit to see how it looks, make sure we didn't cut anything wrong along the way, make sure everything is as it should be. Now for staining these boards, we're gonna try something new this time. We're gonna try pre-stain. As you can see, prevents splotchiness, controls grain raising. I don't know what that means.
Now that Karen has conditioned the wood, it's time to stain, which is my favorite part. No, I suck balls at it. I'm really attracted to the colors blue and gray. For the wood, we decided to go with a walnut stain just to add some warmth to the space. I learned that from Joanna Gaines.
All right, we've made it on to the last step, polyurethane. We did a dry fit test just to see how it looks, and turns out it's pretty heavy. I made this little jig here. It's just a couple 2x4s. We're gonna hang up the shelves, put this underneath. We used some shims, got everything level. Now it's time to screw it, attach it to the wall.
Hey, can I put my cute shit on here?
Nope. Time to remove the support.
Alright! It's time for the finished product. Ow. So I think if we didn't have to film, this probably would have taken us 3 days. We watch shows on YouTube like The Weekender with Monica and guys from this old house when they're like, hey, you guys, you can build this in just a weekender. We're the yahoos that are like, okay.
All right.
That sounds like a great idea.
Let's do it.
We have so many cool projects that are in the works, and every project that we build now equals more storage for me. So stay tuned. We have a lot of fun DIY projects coming up.
Hope you enjoyed watching us build these shelves.
If you're inspired to build like we are, stay tuned for Hey, this is my moneymaker. All right, this is our finished shelving unit. How many nails did you put in this, and screws, you think?
About 18 went into the wall. So there's 3 on each of the long sides and 2 down the center of each shelf. If you decide to build these shelves and anything falls off it, remember, you only have yourself to blame. We would like you to press a like button on the video that is located somewhere on the page.
You mean directly below this video?
I hope so. If they haven't clicked away yet.
If you're still with us and you're not totally annoyed by our cheeky shenanigan, because we do more than one shenanigan, so like, subscribe, comment, do all the things. Give us a good thumbing. You know how we like it. Most importantly, thanks for watching.
Shock Munch! Shock Munch!